Welcome back to Swing Trading, everybody. Great to have you here. Mike Fairbourn, Senior Manager Trading and Derivatives at Charles Schwab. Folks, we have talked in the past about expectations that we get within swing trading as we devise different and look for different sorts of price patterns out there that we're seeing. We've also talked about how to look at price patterns within a larger price pattern that's unfolding. We have some stocks out there that do that, and traders will look for greater expectations when they see that happen. So let's say, for example, we've looked at many longer term sort of flag patterns that also have smaller flag patterns. Sometimes the expectation level does rise on those. Interested to take a look at those today in an interesting group that is seeing some pretty good pressure, buying pressure as it stands right now. So, uh, some interesting example trades to take a look at. Would like to welcome all of you. Hope you had a great Memorial Day weekend. I did. It was longer, right? Had that extra day in there. Got some photos in, got some bike rides in, and yeah, it was good. And by the way, I did get some yard work, some much needed yard work in this time of year ahead of the hotter season for sure. But hello to you, Jay Richardson. Welcome to Chris B, Robert, Will. We've got Roger and Kevin, Josh. Welcome, Josh, and others. And you guys, we're joined in the chat by a good friend and colleague of mine, Mr. Ben Watson. Of course, you see him on the road, 30 plus year veteran of the markets. He's been around the block, to say the least. The guy knows a few things, and it's great to have him here with us. When I say he knows a few things, yeah, we've been teaching for quite some time now. So, folks, welcome to all of you joining. And any questions, comments you have, throw those in the chat so we can address those for you. But I do have some really cool content to take a look at today, and some changes within the markets. We're seeing that breakout sort of strength across the board. So let's hit some disclosures to get the show rolling here. This information is intended for general information purposes only. Now, paperMoney software application intended for general information purposes only. Options carry a high level of risk, not suitable for all investors. Short options can be assigned at any time up to expiration, regardless of the in the money amount. And short puts risk purchasing the underlying stock at the strike price when the market price of the stock will likely be lower. Investing involves risk, including the loss of principal, and for some products and strategies, more than your initial investment. There's no guarantee that the execution of a stop order will be at or near the stop price, and past performance, no guarantee future results, folks. Dividends are not guaranteed. Last slide, futures and futures options trading involves substantial risk, not suitable for all investors. We just look at the charts here, and that is exactly why I did request these slides in the first place. We don't trade here. You want to go to Ben Watson's class for that. Does a great job there. Okay, everybody, let's take a look at what we've got here as we look big picture at our markets here. We saw the big move coming out of the base here. A little bit of a, remember this? You guys might remember this. I've added this. This is interesting. You get these on a few reversals. One of those classic traders, investors out there, Jesse Livermore. If you guys want this, I could share this, with you. Just let me know in the chat. But basically, he's looking for, hey, 1, 2, 3 days down or so, and then you're going to get a higher low is what he's focusing on there. You get a lot of bounces there. We got one there. You'll notice that it can coincide with a fair number of bounces that we might get in the market, to be honest with you. I mean, over here, like, that's what he was trading literally in the 1920s and 30s. He was doing it off the ticker tape though, and he'd go, okay, it was lower, it was lower, it was lower. Now it's higher, or two lows. I had to look at the code. I think it's two lows and then a higher low after that, but it's all about lows, higher lows on a really short-term basis. We got one there, and what do? Well, we kind of bounced just like we did here. We bounced just like we did there, and it is sort of interesting to keep an eye on because yeah, you can get these bounces that can unfold and sort of continue on with the general trend. Of course, the NASDAQ, no exception to this because we have seen such big movers here. You got one there. You got a couple over here as well. Interesting points. But look at this bounce. I mean, it's a big, solid bounce at the upside. Real simple, too. Real easy to do. Market Watch tab, quotes. If you guys have ever done this before, just to see what's... Okay, what we just saw here, let's stop and think about this. It's not that bad to think about this in terms of tracking it, right? We had a gap here on the NDX, the NASDAQ 100. What does that tell us about the companies in the NASDAQ? Well, there was probably some interesting moves on the day with that gap. If you get a gap there, let's find out because there might be an opportunity that some traders might, try to seek out when you are getting a gap higher and you start to bounce and break outside of this range right here and you start to go up. Well, we have 100 other companies to look at. That's just one day. All we got to do to look at one day is as simple as this. Market Watch tab, come right over here. I'm looking for percent changes. Let's make it more comparable. Net changes are fine too. That's interesting, but this makes the whole index comparable. Let's go ahead and just pull in, make sure we're in the NASDAQ so we can see. But what a great way on gaps across us, a basket of stocks. It's not the largest basket. It's a fifth the size of the S&P 500. But all we have to do is pull it up and go like that. What's moving? I'd say memory, semiconductors, technology, storage is what I should say. Um, so why would storage be going higher though? Right? What else? I mean, holy cow. Semiconductors across the board are really, really moving. Now that's interesting. So the group is moving. That's what's really powering the NASDAQ. And I would even venture to say the S&P 500 higher. These are really big moves on a day. Folks, you could get into a longer term investment or whatever, and all year, somebody would be happy to make 4%. This is on the day. Let's just check it out real quick. It's an interesting way because we might be seeing patterns within patterns. There definitely is an area over here to look at. But a quick note, here is your Mag 7. Let's just pull up the big collective basket of those. We've got them right there. Hello to you, Sharon. We've got Riceberg, Paul, Scott. Aloha to Scott. Scott's coming to us live from Hawaii, of course, not Wyoming, not with Aloha and others. But here you go. Take a look at it. We looked at, we tracked this last week and we said this move coming up here. Look at the move we've got. Pattern. There's a larger extension potential. This is extension potential. Nothing's guaranteed in the market. We can't even go there. Things change day to day for sure. But do you see now? Okay, I'm going to change some colors because why not? There we go. Uh-huh. Very close. In fact, if I'm measuring right, we're almost in that same exact area. Pattern within a pattern. You're going to get some movement in here. Now, what's interesting is, do we have any like clear semiconductors in here? Well, NVIDIA, I would say, is a semiconductor. Interestingly enough, NVIDIA is down on the day. And actually, we got a Jesse Livermore fake out there. It was right ahead of earnings, so I would kind of, that's kind of a little bit of an interesting scenario there. But take a look at NVIDIA. Look at this. We ran up, down. That's a higher high and a higher low. Now, money flow over here does suggest that we're not out of our minds. Now, is anything perfect? Like we just said, nothing is 100% in the market, right? The only thing we know is 100% is taxes. That's about it. But yeah, I mean, the money, RSI, I'm joking about the taxes, but there you go. You got to run up here, run up here. There's some momentum, obviously, but look at the money flow. Did we have buyers coming in ahead of that higher high? I think we did. I mean, according to money flow, we did. We'll say that. Oftentimes that is the case anyways, but you got to check. This could be on balance volume. This could be money flow. There are some other indicators, Chaikin money flow, combination of RSI and money flow. It's got the momentum and the volume. I better point it out because I did just bring it up. It's not exactly a name. The guy's name is Mark Chaikin, who developed it, Chaikin money flow. Some of these, though, they're showing that additional strength. Now, this is kind of one of the leaders in the group, but here we are. Could this be an interesting setup for what's going on? It could be. So I know I dived right into this group. I wanted to actually look at another group as well, but semiconductors, it's hard to overlook that with the strength, even with this coming down. Now, I'm going to show you this right now because I want to pull this up. Just a quick cross comparison before we put an example trade here on NVIDIA, even as Prices are going lower. We don't necessarily have the swing trade set up perfectly in line just yet, but what some traders might bank on is something like, could there be a high around here? Excuse me, a support level that could come in near this range? Well, there could be. Quickly, just so I don't miss this, let's go over here though, and let's just go right back into our public folders. Let's highlight just a couple of these so you can see. We did point them out, so I want to show you this is the easiest and the best way to do this. Now I have net change. I'm going to quickly flip that to net or a percent change. Like I said, make this a little bit more comparable for us. Let's clear this one out. We're going to move this guy up to here and click OK. Now, we've got our comparison, so we're going to see exactly what we just saw on the Market Watch tab, but we're going to be utilizing the gadget tool on the left-hand side because we can access this much, much easier in terms of clicks, right? Okay, just typing that in. Now let's go over here. There is Micron right there. We did get that Jesse Livermore bounce off that bottom. Higher low just slightly, but there's your rally. Okay, but did it gap higher like the NASDAQ? Yes. Could this be the beginning of a longer term rally? Wow. If it is, it's got a little ways to go still. I mean, if this is the flag right here to here, that's a very, very strong gap above a big round number. But if I'm just eyeballing this guy, whew, I mean, we might be off the charts here, so to speak, or very close to the top of our page for a standard flag pattern retracement, taking these levels, low to high, right? Similar price ranges. That's a really, really big move. You guys seeing that? I mean, we had to kind of back. It's helpful to back out. Do you see an area where it could potentially run from here? It's fairly good strength. The money flow has been like almost parabolic. Again, not a guarantee, but it is, I mean, it is quite a jump up here with a cumulative volume. Money flow, again, we said not perfect, but it does try to look at accumulation of volume, and you can see the volume spikes over here on the chart there too. Okay, we like to correlate that to upward moves, just generally speaking, but there you go. That's the huge mover today. Um, some people shy away from that strength, but sometimes it can be a good indication of a potential follow through as well, just because there's just a lot of buying pressure. You guys getting the sense of where these giant flags could go? I mean, honestly, this is like the giant, giant move. Now, where might I position a smaller flag pattern within this range? Okay, if I go here, where is the upside level? That's about 300 to about 450. It's actually not, it's not quite to 300, it's just slightly above 450. So what are we talking there? How many points? Let's take those points. This is right here at about 400. And where do we take this to? This is really short term, but that's like a shorter term, right? I know you guys are thinking about 550 or so, right? Right there. See it right there? Still, maybe some strength. You know, be mindful of it. It could be part though of a much larger pattern. And it's kind of a nice problem to have. I mean, you say, here's a target here, but maybe I have a much larger target outside of this range as well. So that's in there. I want to pick up on the NVIDIA one too next. The question comes in, yeah, what is the Jesse Livermore bounce? So what it is, it's looking at a couple of lows, prior lows, 2 to 3 lows, and then what you're going to get is a higher low right here. He was always looking at lows, higher lows. Let me just go ahead and share it. Now, think scripts aren't guaranteed for timeliness or accuracy, but I'll share this just so you guys have it. This is what it was. We did this in one of the think script classes, but it can be interesting on the bounces. Like I said, this is what he was using years ago off the ticker tape, and it stands to reason, and it still could be of interest to some today. So I'll just call it the JL bounce. Okay, is what that is. But there you have it. Again, those folks that are viewing this on the recorded session, remember this will be that code will be under the description section of the YouTube channel. We'll have it down there for you in the links down below. All right, folks. Hey, if you're getting any value out of this whatsoever, just smash that like button. Give us a follow on Trader Talks. Love to have you all on board. There are some great classes Ben Watson teaches. I mentioned that futures class and other classes. Be sure to catch Ben on the road as well. I've got this ThinkScript class and a markets and sectors class as well. On that note, hey, let's get back to our discussion here, but plenty of these to look at and a great, great resource in terms of trades to the upside. Now, here's one of the downside though here. Look at this. I'm sorry. It's to the downside. In other words, it's towards the bottom. Some of you like the topping levels, the momentum. Some of you like the bottoms, where you're going to be getting some of that maybe combinations of value and growth at a reasonable price or GARP type investing. You might see that down here. Did we get earnings on this today? Let's just take a look. Some of these, that's kind of like looking almost like a cup and handle. We must have gotten it, right? It was this morning. I'm going to click on it, just see what I can get. It was after market today. Okay, so we'll know at the end of the day, but if you guys are seeing what I'm seeing over here, look at this. There are so many interesting potential patterns out here. Sometimes after these, though, you do get the flag, and then you get the rally, right? Off of the big rounded cup type pattern, which will oftentimes extend up the distance of that level. Just eyeballing it. I'm off. I'm off target here, but you get the idea. That's another interesting target to keep an eye on. But it's a really big mover today, percentage wise, right? Okay. Um, okay, let's do this. I'm gonna go back to NVIDIA. Let's start some of these example trades as we get in here. Now, I'm looking at this one. You say, well, Mike, yeah, it's pulling back, but you know what else is somewhat pulling back? And it's also some of these have already run quite a bit. Uh, Google. Now, Google is kind of in a flat range as well, but you guys see the potential for a possible flag here? Still consolidating, right? Still consolidating in that range. There's a lot to look at, but if we were to look at a Google or an NVIDIA, and we really don't have a bounce coming out of here just yet. So sometimes we might look, and we have done this in the past. We've looked at some of the uh, short puts in the direction, bullish to neutral. So the anticipation is it will either go sideways, maybe down a little bit, or to the upside before we have the breakout or the move. Now, one of the things, this is very important too. If you have a general pattern setting up, and we were thinking about a pullback occurring over here into this range, and we thought it was like a stronger pattern as opposed to something that was a little bit different, maybe we didn't have quite the strength behind it. What do you guys think in terms of strike prices? Higher? Do you want the strike prices higher, or do we want them lower if it's a pattern that we might recognize, some traders might recognize for strength going forward? They're anticipating bullishness going forward. What do we do? Do we hold the strikes higher or lower in terms of the short put side? Now, if you would have said higher, you might be thinking in the lines of there's a greater expectation. Some of you still might want them lower. It really kind of does depend. But if the expectation is more bullish, it's more bullish, it's got more bullishness to it, right? You probably scoot these up higher and try to take advantage of that move that you believe is setting up for more strength to the upside. So having said that, what we can do is you can just go like this and say, well, what about that as a support level? The 380. What about the 370? What about the bottom of the gap right there, which by the way is very, very close to this longer level, about 350? That might be as low as some traders that are more aggressive here, or they're just more bullish too. That's where they might be selling, or just maybe slightly below that level. So say, for example, 350, 345, 340, 345-ish, that range there. Because they are just generally more bullish. Now, might not be everybody, but I'm just throwing out some ideas here. Have we bounced yet? No, but some traders might say, you know what, Mike, we could be on the verge of bouncing here too. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to do two trades. The first one is going to be the one, let's look at, let's say just doing a short, we'll go full screen here, short put vertical. In fact, we can, 20 to 50 days. I'm just going to go ahead and choose the 20. Let's just see what we've got at the 20 range here. Here's your 50, 350, that is, the 350 at, and there's a 345. Now, if we click on this, is this going to be worth our while here? First of all, looking at, I'll jump up just a little bit here. Just the short put by itself is going to get us 170 credit. I mean, that's like the max credit, right? And the max loss, of course, with that assignment potential and the stock dropping, that's if the stock were to go to zero. So just keep that in mind. Google going to zero without getting out of the stock, but we want to look at that. But let's just say 170 here. If we just buy that 345, that didn't work. Let's do that again. So a 5 wide, because that's all we've got here. It's really only, I'm going to round it up to 40 cents. 40 cents. So it's about a 10%. It's not a ton in here. What do you guys think of that? I'm going to show you one. I'm going to put one on. Look, we're going to do, a few, because I think it was like 4,000. 4,000 was the buying power effect, 4,000 and change. If I just brought this up, which is what a lot of traders will do, they'll say, okay, so how much is this then? Well, it's about 120. It's not 370, but it's a lot less buying power effect too. Clearly below the 4,000. One of the key points here is right there, the max loss. Substantially different, right? Defined loss here. Now, some might not like this based on the percentage. Some might go higher. That 350 is on the low end, folks. That's a delta of only 11. You know what? I'm going to bump it up a little bit. We're going to do that. We're going to bump it up a little bit. Let's say there's a higher expectation that it's just going to move up or sideways. We don't think it's going to drop so much. Let's just say that's what the trader thinks. I'm going to move it up. That's only 11. Generally, we're seeking out, 20 to 40 range, but a minimum of like 20. That's 365. That's up a bit. What about 360, 365 on the chart? I want to do that. I want to adjust it. Remember, a delta, again, just measures a $1 change on the price of the, if the stock moves up $1, the option will adjust by the amount of the delta. But this is also built as a built-in expectation from some traders. There's only, let's say, a 17% expectation that it's going to go below that level as well. Okay, that's enough explanation. Where's your 360? We're going to go 360 instead. Okay, 360. And we'll choose the 17, still quite a bit lower, but here you go, 360, and we'll take a look at this, and we'll do 3 of these. Now we're going to be over our 170 initial credit we were talking about, but look at the buying power effect. It's only 1290, and we are, in terms of comparing that to our max loss, 210 divided by 1290. So it's better. I'm going to click on OK. We'll get this one under our belt. But I also want to do this. For those people that say that, they're anticipating that this could be a move to the upside and a longer move, and that there really could be a bigger, I mean, if there's a bigger move, it's got a long way to go still. I'm going to map this out for us nicely over here with this projected move. I'm going to activate it and pull this guy right over here. About 500. I'm going to shoot for 500, okay, in terms of a target for the underlying stock. Now, this is what's fascinating. We can keep this quite tight, too. We did showed a couple different ways to do this, but let's just say we put it at that level right there. So about 365, but we're only going to do, let's say, 50 shares or so. Still going to be expensive, but we'll just go right there. Actually, I'm going to go just below this range, just below this range. So our expectation is going to break higher on the stock, but a much, much higher potential target to the upside. Okay, so that's about 375. Okay, I'm going to right click on the ask. Let's go down here. OCO bracket order for this one. 375. And yeah, that's a huge difference. There's 500. I'll just go 499. Sometimes they'll go just below that level. We'll lock this down at 50 on Google. right there. Okay. Confirm. Got our GTCs in. Always take a look at the dialog box. We'll send that on through right now. Okay, so that's in place. And you can see just massive potential risk versus reward, a massive differential between those two. This is the potential reward relative to the potential risk, and we're only doing 50 shares. Sometimes traders might add more too on folks on the breakout higher. Now, I elected to go with this one as opposed to NVIDIA, but on the NVIDIA side, for both, this one doesn't have an entry yet. Let's say for a stock entry, we don't have like a hold over here, right? Necessarily, or we don't right now. Could it be a support level here or over here? Sure. What's this down here? What if we said, we're okay maybe buying stock, potentially owning stock at at this level? There's a long range over here, but even a little bit lower, let's say 190. What do we get for that if we just sell a put there? We know there's premium, prices coming down. If prices are coming down, put values are going up. Okay, that could be beneficial. And so the premiums might be higher, right? There could be a volatility component in there as well, pushing them up. But let's just look at that right now as a stronger kind of setup on this stock. What are we getting for our one? It was 90, right? Yeah, 190, right in that range. Here's your 190. So we're right in here. If I just did this, wow, that's got the biggest, well, one of the biggest, not the biggest, but look at that open interest. This is just crazy here. We're at 130 million already. You're going to get some pretty liquid options. Yeah, that's like 3 cents. That's amazing. I mean, it really is. But 31,000, we're in the tens of thousands there. So let's click on it right here, the bid. So that's $150 that a trader would be looking to potentially collect if the price of the stock holds above 190 in, let's see, was it 23 days or so? It's somewhere right around here for June, right, the expiration. So we're building it on strength, and we're thinking, okay, there's just maybe support, support here, and then even here, and maybe somebody's okay owning it. But let's just say it stays above there. Although short options can be assigned at any time, they're just expecting, let's say, if it holds above that level, they just collect the premium, right? So that's what we're looking here in terms of premium. I'm going to put it in this way. I'm not going to put like an exit in here. I'm going to say, assume it from this angle. Somebody wants to own 100 shares because we're talking about standard equity option contracts. One contract, standard equity options contract, is equivalent to 100 shares of stock. They're okay buying that at 190 and keeping that premium too. If it were to get assigned, remember, you still get to collect that premium. You get to keep that 150. So that could lower, let's say, your total cost in that sense, if you wanted to look at it that way, right? You have to be buying at 190, but of course, you're getting that difference there. It dipped. I'm going to go back to 150 right there. Okay, here we go. There we go. Okay. There you have it. So there's a couple of different angles there. Now, you know what else is interesting and what we have seen moving with oil? Did you guys track this morning? I went through and I looked at a number of different sectors and broke it down to specific industries. Now, we did break lower. I sent a little tweet out on this because this was, the oil markets were open yesterday. Let me just pull it up real quick. I just want to highlight because it does have what I wanted to show you guys on here. There it is. Perfect. Here we go. Oh, not quite. Let's just do that again. Okay. Make sure we got it narrowed down. There we go. Okay, here we go. So, oh, quick note too. April, personal consumption expenditure. This might be the biggest economic announcement this week. The PCE expenditures. That has moved the markets clearly in the past. Just keep an eye on it. We've got that there with Schwab Trading, though, if you want to take a look at it, and estimates. But this is what I put in yesterday, is we did break, it was breaking $6 lower oil. And I said that that represented kind of a big triangle break. You see the measurement over here in that triangle? You take this high range, which is this line that I drew in here, you just extend it from the break on down and you get that level right at around, very close to 60, okay? I don't know if we'll get that far like quickly. That is the full retrace. You don't always get it, but that's what that number was representing. Now, when I saw this happen yesterday, uh, one of the first thoughts I was thinking about was the trade that we did last week on Delta. Okay, where we have 100 shares, and then we also did the exact same thing uh, that week or the week before uh, with the short put. So both of those are working out okay. I mean, obviously, prices are breaking higher. We broke that lower triangle on CL. So that's positive. Obviously, a huge input cost of transports, folks. Let me just do this too. DJT, dollar sign DJT, the Dow Jones Transports. What are we getting over here? See that low right there? What do you guys see right there? It's kind of a big number too. Do you see higher highs, higher lows? Coming down to a base, bouncing. We've got a macro, some potential macro driver behind the scenes, and we're getting a bounce already in our trade that we looked at, which is Delta. Obviously, which one was it? 65s. It was a short put. The 65 short put is probably going to be doing okay. We were all the way down here, right? And we just put it below this level, remember? Look at this. Just in this move alone, how much of that did we collect? If we click on it right there, already $111. Now, we have a good move off the stock price too, for sure. The stock is up. We'll look at the stock price too. This is just the paper money trade that we did, but we're winning. I mean, on both sides. And sometimes traders will balance out that risk. They might do a little bit of a short put, but it does depend. Remember, there is more risk you're putting on, but it does depend on your expectation. I mean, do you think it has that potential? This is very small compared to what the stock did. The stock obviously ran higher here. Yeah, substantially higher there on the stock, right? 800 versus that one. But I'm just saying some traders will choose something before they get the signal and they'll go from there. In this case, we did both. My key point here is the transports. Let's go to the scan tab right now. I'm just looking for that group because that group is really, really moving. This is a great way to do it. Just the S&P transports because we're playing on what's happening with DJT, the Dow Jones transports. We're coming over here and I'm going to go right to industry. You're going to find all those transports, folks, in materials, but not all. You could look at all materials if you wanted to. Right down at the bottom here, there it is. Transports, air freight and logistics. Well, I'm thinking UPS, I'm thinking FedEx. Would they not benefit? Passenger airlines for sure. We just saw Delta. And those have kind of gotten really moving quick. Now there's marine transport, ships, there's ground transport. Now I want to look at the ground as well, is we've seen some growth in certain groups within US companies that are amazingly strong, particularly for ground transport. So watch this. We're going to do all of it. We're going to do rail, cargo, and passenger right there. Now this one, so everything here, S&P 500. Great way to find it. Boom. Super duper fast. Okay, let's start off with our first one up here. Actually, before I do that, here's AAL too. Look at the move. Look at the move out of the base. This actually had the pattern within the pattern here. That's the bigger one that I think we're hitting right now. This one's a little bit more mature. Now, it's not to say it can't run longer. It's trending up. But then you see the smaller one building it within it too. And what we were talking about is the expectation that some traders look at when you get a couple of these building up. CSX, though, getting back to this group right here. Okay, yeah, so CSX. Remember, keeping that in mind, our focus here. Oh, there's your Jesse Livermore right there. We have traded this one a few times. In fact, this one worked out fine for us, this swing trade. You see it? We still have our lines to show us where we were at previously in terms of our flag pattern. But here we are again, and we're just on the verge right there. Now, what could fuel this higher, so to speak? Well, transports, oil, etc. over time. Um, it could be quite strong. We are holding into a sideways channel here. So let's look at CSX over here. Now, one of the things is too, is we're actually on the verge of actually breaking out. And you'd have to say, if you are getting that signal there, you're also getting a, well, a hold right now. Of course, we don't have it till the day's done. That's still in about, let's see, 25 more minutes. Actually, 25 more minutes till the close of the day. We might get a Cahold as well, but we have been inching higher here. Will we get it or not? That's an interesting question, but you can see I've got a new line right here to represent this point. Could we also extend higher because we've got this big number right there? Do you guys look at those numbers? I do. I've just done it. I started looking at it after I was doing this about 10 years trading. I said, you know what? Sometimes these numbers do relate pretty well. Okay, Paul, you got that. Paul gave us, oh, the short put vertical on that one. Gotcha. All right. All right. Let's do it. Quick note, put side, the puts. Wow. These are we're still in June. So the numbers are low. I mean, there's not a lot of time left, but these numbers are incredibly low. Look at this. Like on the ass side, there's like, these are all like in the 40, 40. It's like there's nothing there. Interesting. We're really not looking at that area anyways. We're looking at more at the breakout. But sometimes you look over here, you just say there's just not much there. Some of these do have open interest that fit quite well. But hey, if the money ain't there, or you don't think if the premium's not there, why would you do it? 44 hardly has anything on it, right? It's a lower price stock too. But look at the potential move here. I've drawn in a couple. I've got to get different color in here. I'll use this instead. What are we looking at here? And where are my drawing tools? There they are. Okay, so right over here, longer term, shorter term. Yeah. So either of these could I say that because it is projected over into that upper end of the range, and we're getting some of this with some power in transports right now. So let's do this. I'm going to just do 100 shares. We'll do a round lot here. I'm going to put the strike below, excuse me, I'm going to put the stop below this level right here. And then we're going to look at a target. We'll do the longer one this time. And I'm going to try to get it exact as I can. Okay, so off the bottom to the top here. There we go. Let's redraw this. In fact, I'll just activate it. This is another way to do it. Draw it off that bottom. Wow. So 52, I'll just say 52 range, right? The shorter term one, I think, might hit somewhere around, let's activate this guy. I'll just pull this guy over now, somewhere around 50 to 52. So now you have a variation there. But both are suggesting, does that fit with our swing trade? Swing trade, remember, three to about 20 days. It seems to fit okay, either one of those two. Again, maybe building on an expectation here. So let's do it. Going over here, right click, by custom OCO bracket. First thing I'll set these up. Now this is just below our range here. I'm going to shoot for that 52 up top, 52 over here for the big upside range here. Some might go 50, some might not do anything, but we're just showing you in this example trade what this could do. I'm going to adjust this lower one too. So here's our entry set up on our dialog box. You got everything here. You got your buying power effect as it stands right now. And we're going to set this trade in now. It's going to be on the chart here. Notice that my stop, not my limit, but my stop is a little bit higher. So I'm just going to adjust this down right to there below the range I said. Click send and I'm done. Okay. That's the first one. Is there another ground transport that we could fit in here? Let's just go ahead and try to make it 4 example trades today. Now, I realize a lot of it is momentum. They're all kind of on the upper end, but that's what we're seeing. JBHT was here. Yeah, JB Transport, cargo ground. We did rail, and now we did JBHT. These would be interesting to look at as well. Ooh, Uber's in there. By the way, is down. But you're getting some rails, 3 rails, and a couple of 2, 3 ground transports. Look at that. Okay, where is it? We've got, I know you guys have seen this. I've done it a lot of times, but there's a larger one and a smaller one in there too. So depending upon which one you want to target, sometimes you can start off with the smaller, even sell some shares into it, or go from there. Now, this one is actually just like raking out. Now, I'll just state this right now. We did not get the Jesse Livermore. I'm just going to explain why real quick. We did not, because we did not get two lows down. It went dip and went higher. Um, Still, it's breaking above this range and this range. So let's just eyeball it. I'll just draw these quickly here. Look at this right here. So shorter term flag, still clearly above our range. Longer term, right there. Now that's a lot longer term, and excuse me, a lot longer run too. A longer runway, you'd have to say for sure on this. But the beauty of this is what do we look at in here? There's a little bit of variation. You can look at various levels, 3 to 20 days. Looks like you got your 20 longer term. Looks like you got your maybe, lower end. I'm not saying three is a specific number, but I'm just saying either of those may in fact fit in to that level. Let's put a trade on right now as our final trade of the day because we are getting some strength in the transports and really depending upon where we want to look. Now, we can do, let's see, that was actually a lot higher. I'll tell you what, we'll set one up for the longer, but we can put maybe a notification. Well, we can keep an eye on it if it starts to kind of round around the shorter term target level or whatever the case might be. What can be helpful too, just put a line over here, put a line in and let you know where that target is, or just have a line going up there right as you hit it. There was our fill on CSX right there. Okay, so let's do this. Let's go trade. It's more expensive one. I'm just going to do 50 shares on this. We'll vary a little variation on it. Okay, let's set this first, and we'll go 50. Tab through. Wait, that's the lock. Sorry. There we go. 50. Okay, C's, and this was about 320, 325 or so. This one's going to be fairly tight. Give it a little bit of room to run, but I'm going to go about two. We're doing a smaller number of shares too, which can be quite helpful as well. Okay. I mean, in terms of not being too overly leveraged on a trade like this, always keep an eye on the dialog box right there. There you go. Cool. There's our fill. Let's take a look at our levels right now. Now I was way off on the stop, right? I've got to put the stop, potential stop, either however you feel on which trade you're looking at in terms of targeting. I'm going to put it at least below this level here. Okay. Now we can use ATRs to help us with that. We've done that in the past. Right now, I'm just trying to get the trade under our belt, but right, that would be open to doing something like that. Let's get to the auto here. Now I'm going to pull it down. And what I'm going to do is actually give us a better idea of where that initial target was, measuring that longer term flag again. I'd lost it. Okay, so let's just duplicate. I'll just keep them on here so we know. And that's off the bottom here. Was I close? Dang, I was close. We'll leave it. We'll go ahead and leave that to the line there. That's the lower. That's actually the higher range of the target. So I'm way off, folks. I'm way off on that one. That was our. Hold on. Yeah, I'm way off. Sorry. The target is right. The there. Okay, there we go. So that actually represents our larger target. Our smaller term target was once you mess with those, they can be tricky. It actually might line up. Watch, it was like this. It's like right over here. So see this move off the bottom right there to this high. Take that range off there. Just whoa. Looks like the larger term and smaller term might be lining up. We're close to it, right? I was a little bit lower, but there you go. Wow. Okay. So we'll see, but that is setting up there along, playing those general sort of transports. Okay, we didn't have a lot of discussion in the chat today, so I hope you guys are good with what we've got. Folks, if you got value out of this presentation, smash that like button. We got some interesting moves. We'll see how they do unfold going forward here, but looks like we're just about out of time. Yeah, be sure to subscribe to our Trader Talks channel. Be sure to take a look at Ben Watson stuff. He's got some great stuff, right on Trader Talks. Here, I'll put this link in. Thank you, Ben. He's put my X handle in the loop, but this is the Trader Talks channel. Trader Talks. Love to have you join. We got 197,000 and change that are already on board there, and really some interesting ones if they do unfold, right, with the market right now showing strength, those gaps. We looked at the gaps, took a look at technology, finished off with some of the transports. On that note, everybody have a great rest of the day, and thank you, Ben, as always, for your help with the chat. See you all next time. Bye-bye.